Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Quarto Workshop Series. Today's the topic is stunning, how to make stunning and effective slides using Quarto. And this is the topics and the agenda that we have. I am Jae-bin Jung, the Professor of Marketing and the Director of Center for Customer Insights and Digital Marketing. Today I'm going to be mainly serve as a moderator, and my colleagues, Professor Carson Lange and Gerard Griffin, will be the presenters. So quickly, presenters, would you introduce yourself?
Okay, I share my screen just a moment.
I'll have to unshare, stop sharing. But
Can you see my screen?
uh, yeah, but we can wait until we have a little bit more slides before you start.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you turned it over to me. I was just panicking.
That's okay. Uh, Let me share this again. All right, so the Professor Carlson Lenge is the professor of economics, and he also teaches for MSDM program. And Gerard Griffin is a master's student in MSDM program, and also serves as a graduate fellow at the center. So thank you both. Um, Let me, oops. All right, a few announcements. This workshop will be recorded and will be available later. The It's probably you'll have to wait considerable time since we don't have a dedicated person for doing this work. Uh, but we so, this link that's going to be shared. Let me share this on the screen. Let's see. Okay, looks like somebody. Okay, good. And then the live slides is available on this link that just share. So you can follow this link. Then let me also demonstrate that. Let me see. You can follow this link, and then you'll see exactly same slide that I'm seeing. All right. And if you have a question during the workshop, you can type in the chat. And then we'll also have Q&A towards the end. All right. And right. So here is overall agenda. We'll have a presentation formats and the enhancing slides, aesthetics, and Reveal.js basics, followed by 10 slides for maximum engagement with audience, and Reveal.js theme, how to use themes to style your presentation slide beautifully and then add certain effects. Then Q&A. So after we finish this workshop, you should be able to convert Reveal.js presentation slides to other presentation format, and then build a dynamic and interactive presentation using Reveal.js format of Quarto, and maximize engagement with audience using various engagement enhancing features of the Quarto, such as navigation menu, override mode, speaker view, and chalkboard, and enhance presentation aesthetics by applying themes, customizing layouts, and incorporating animations or transitions. And then lastly, customize themes using Sass variables to maintain brand consistency and create a distinctive presentation styles. Just as you see, these presentation slides, which was made with Coro. I'm going to ask Dr. Linge to talk about the presentation formats. So I'm going to share.
Okay, now I do share. Just a moment. Okay, here we are. I hope you all can hear me. Just give me a moment. Okay, so I will give you a demo of the basics, and Jared later on will show the more sophisticated and more exciting things you can do with Quarto. I start here, which is called the YAML header. It's basically the basic configuration settings. You would get a template when you go to File, and when you go to File, New File, Quarto Presentation, then it generates a template. I filled it already out, so here's my title. I decided to have a subtitle. I added an author. I chose a theme, and Jared will talk a little bit more about themes. I choose the moon theme, and I want like to have controls on my slides. I want slide numbers. And what you can do, you can embed all the resources like pictures and so on and so on in a HTML file. That's a good thing to do, but if you have controls, this one wouldn't work. I want, if I have enumerations, they should be scrollable. I will show that to you later on. I have a footer here, and the footer in this case is an HTML link. It's a link here. It has a reference, goes to the documentation of Quarto, and here is the text. And I also, in the footer, I like to have a logo, and I chose the Quarto logo. If I have code, I want to show the code in most cases. There will be exceptions. And that's why I set folding of code to false. I want a chalkboard. And incremental means if I have enumerations, they come up incrementally. I like to have them normally come up at once, and there will be exceptions, and I will show you the exceptions. So I just go here to the slide. Here's the title. Here's the subtitle. Here's the author name. Here are the tools. And here are my controls. I can click and I go to the first slide. You can see here the footer. It would go to the Quarto website with the Quarto logo. So everything that I set in the header is reflected here in this slide. Okay, so Quarto offers several transitions here, and you can see them here. and I don't go into every detail. What I want you to focus on, I have a footnote here, and I will later show you how I make it, and here it is, a footnote. Also, this is not exactly an enumeration. It doesn't have bullet points. It doesn't have 1, 2, 3. This is just like a list of paragraphs, but they still come in incrementally, and I will show you later how that works. You can see here that this slide zooms in and out. I show it again to you how it zooms in. Look, it zooms in. And then afterwards, it has a different animation when it goes to the next one. And what you see here is similar to a footnote, but it's not related to any of the words. It's just a note in general. It's called a side note in Quarto. And again, I show it to you in a minute. So look how it fades out. And here what I do, I load the Estonia data set. Estonia was a ship in the Baltic Sea, a terrible tragedy, 1994. It sunk, so something similar than the Titanic data set. I decided here I don't want to show the code, but what if somebody asks for it? The code is folded here, just this code, because in general I set code folding to 0 or to not fold. And now during my presentation, I can click here and I can show the code. And you see here already my link is pretty long. So I can scroll here automatically. If I don't want to show it anymore, I just hide it again. Gives me a lot of flexibility when I'm presenting. In the Estonia data set, there are a lot of variables, and I list them here as an enumeration, and you will see they come up one by one. So for this enumeration, and only for this one, incremental is set to true, and I show you later how it works. Has an ID, a first name, a last name, a country, survival code, sex, and whoops, 2 others are coming. They don't fit here on that page, but I had scrollable set to true, and you see here's age, and then comes another one, and I can scroll down and I can see it. Normally you want to make sure that everything fits on one slide, but in some cases it's unavoidable and you want to have a scrollable slide. I stop here with the demo and I go to the code and show you how these things were made. See, incremental for enumeration in general is set to false. Here's my list of slide transitions. And what I like is that they come in incremental, but it's not an enumeration, so they would not fall under this argument. What I do instead, I have a blank line here, and then I have 3 dots, each dot separated from the next one by a blank, and another empty line. And this makes these topics come in incremental. You can use it with almost every topic. Then came the slide that zoomed in and out. Remember, I had transitions not set in by default. Transitions are just like the slide pops up. For this slide here, in curly brackets, I set the transition to zoom when it comes in and to fade when it goes out. And in addition, I set the transition speed to slow, and that applies only to this slide. You can do the same thing in the YAML header. You would just do transition zoom in, transition zoom out, and then it would apply to all the slides. And remember the little note that was on that slide? at the end of my slide, when I produced it, I created an area. It's called the fence, because this looks a little bit like a fence. It's just 3 colons. And then I say what type of fence it is. It's a side fence, so you can see a side node if you want. And then I wrote, note the YAML transition cannot be overwritten by individual slides. And that showed up in small font on the bottom. Then I loaded the Estonia dataset, but in this case, I wanted to hide the code. So what I can do, because this is code related, hiding the code, it is inside the code section here. And I start with the # that internally generates the comment mode, but I have a vertical line after it that is the key above the enter key in shift mode. And now I say, I provide the specifics here, code fold : is true. This made this code folding. And here is my code. Then I had the variables in the data set. I was listing them. And in the header, in the YAML header, I said incremental to false. So enumerations would come in at once, but I like to have an exception here. So I have another fence here, fencing actually my enumeration. Here it is. And I set it to incremental. You always, if you do it with a fence, you always have to have a dot ahead of it. Okay, this is how far we got. I told you this is really not ideal to have a slide that you have to scroll, but it's an option, and it's a good option. But if I don't want that, I can do something else. I can make the font a little smaller. It has to be in curly brackets. And I type dot smaller. And now you see if I render it again. And we go back to that slide. Make it full screen. I type F. And now you will see my variables come in, but because the font is now smaller, everything fits on one slide. So I go to the next slide here. Oh, one word about it. I would always switch scrollable on, because if it fits, no scroll bar is there. So it doesn't harm if the bullet points fit, but it helps if they don't fit. You can at least access it. So I click here on this control forward. And what I did here is I highlighted my code. That's nice, because I can say, first we have to load the tidyverse library in line 1. Lines are automatically numbered. Then in the next 2 lines, look, there are 2 lines highlighted. We select the passenger ID, sex, and survived. And then we use the head command to print the first 6 records. But oops, this doesn't look good, because the records are already there. It would be nice if they would show up after the head command. In the next slide, I did exactly that. Library, marking the next 2 lines. Now comes the head, and now I execute the head command, and here's the result. In reality, you don't execute it, but it looks like you're executing your code. That is way more interesting when you present. And I will show you in the next, when we go back to the code, I will show you how to do that. I have something similar here. I suppressed the line numbering here, and I create a jitter plot for age and survived. And I could do it the same way, but this plot takes a lot of space, so maybe I don't want it here. Maybe I want it on the next slide, and exactly that's what I did. the output goes actually to the next slide. Here's my jitter plot, and you can see here are the poor people who drowned. Most people drowned. Here are the people who survived. It's difficult to see a pattern. It looks a little bit that more survivors here were in this area. So it's useful plot. Go to the next slide here. And I was thinking, should I show you shameless advertising for my machine learning book? No, I don't want it. But often you decide not to show a slide, but you still want to have it in your presentation in case you change your mind. And you can add, and I will show it to you, you can add visibility equals hidden. And I will show you another way that is actually even more flexible. And the other way is I create main slides and minor slides. And the minor slides, that would be my machine learning book slide, is the slide that I can only show, that I only show optional. So I go back to the code. We talked about this part here already. Here are my line numbers. Remember, they were highlighted so nicely. So first, when the slide comes up, line number 1 is highlighted. Afterwards, 2 and 3 are highlighted together, and then line number 4 is highlighted. But the problem was that this one was executed automatically. Here I fixed it, same code, but I have another line here, output location fragment. Fragment means it is outputted on the next click on the same slide. Then I had my plot, and I didn't want the line numbers at all, so I set them to false. And I wanted the output location on the next slide. So I just say slide, and this way it moved automatically to the next slide. So very, very easy to do with big consequences. So the last thing I want to show you is how can I create optional slides and decide during my presentation if I use them or not. In the header, you have to put navigation mode vertical. I commented it out, here it is. And you have to create hierarchies of your slides, and I will do that very quick. I change all my slides but one to the top hierarchy. And I hope it works. And this one here, this is my shameless advertising for my machine learning book. I set it to the lower hierarchy. I have 2 signs here, so I don't replace this one, but I replace this one, and hopefully it works. So now I go to my presentation slide again. Let me blow it up. Here we are, full screen note. I go a few slides back.
It's okay. I'm
and
not on camera right now.
Oh, okay. All right. Just
nothing changes here. So I go forward, forward, forward. Oops. And it didn't work. Let me do one trial if I get it working. I think this was a mistake. Yeah, should work now. Oh, I set visibility to 0 on my slide because I didn't want to show it. I apologize. Here. This would just not show this slide, but I delete this here now, and now it will work. Send it again. So see, I have the same controls here. And now I come to the slide, should I show my shameless advertisement? And what you can see here, I can go forward and it will just not show it. But I have another option. I can go to the lower level here and I can show it. You see the footer level has changed here. It's a different slide. And if I go to the next one, comes this slide here. This is a huge advantage because often you have details. You say, nah, I don't cover them, but somebody asks a question and then you can say, okay, I want to cover this question. I want to show you one last thing here. How do I deploy my slides? I have an account on Quarto Pub. It's free. You can have it. I have a login to that account. So how do I deploy it? That will probably take another 15 minutes to do. No, it will not. It takes seconds. I need a terminal window. So again, here to go Tools, Terminal, a new terminal window. And then the only thing what I have to type is publish Quarto and then Quarto minus pub. That's the name of the website. And I better spell it right. The other one was okay. And I have to add the name of the file. It's called demo QMD. Enter. Cross your fingers. And it didn't work. Is there a typo?
I think you should start with like quarter publish. Quarter
Oh,
publish.
thank you so much. It's the other way around.
Mhm.
See if I can correct that. No, I can't. Thank you. That is exactly the problem. Quarto publish and not this way. Quarto publish. Then where do I want to publish it? To Quarto minus pub and then demo dot QMD. And I didn't have to log in. I just say enter. It renders it again and then automatically publishes it. And you can see here, it opens it. Econcast, my username, quarto.pub, here are my slides. It is that easy. Well, thank you. We have time for questions later. I turn it over to Jared.
All right.
Okay,
Thank you so
thank
much.
you.
Oh,
Yeah, so go ahead, Jared.
all right. Thank you. Yeah, that was a great kind of first half of this. I learned quite a lot. So thank you for that. But I'll go ahead and share my screen. And then we will go ahead and talk about the other side of Quarto presentations, where we are going to kind of be actually presenting them and engaging with the audience. So hopefully everybody can go ahead and see my slides, but we'll go ahead and take a look at some of the topics to cover. So first off is going to be the navigation menu, and I'm actually going to use these slides as a teaching tool. To find the navigation menu, all we have to do is look down here in the bottom left for like this kind of hamburger menu. And then we will see we get this overview of our slides, which are essentially just our different headers or our H1 level headers, as well as our kind of subtopics as well. So this gives a nice kind of view uh, of all of these slides, so you can just quickly hop around to the content that you need to. If you want, instead of this kind of text-based approach, you can access this overview mode by hitting escape. And what this does is provides you as it says, an overview of the Quarto slides. So here, this is the slide we're on right now. And this is like the H1 level heading, this presenting slides for maximum engagement. And then you see, instead of like PowerPoint, where it just kind of goes in a line, in a straight line, you can see our subheadings actually go beneath the slide. So it kind of groups each kind of topic in this arrangement. You can see here on the right-hand side, when we talk about reveal themes, you can see how far down this goes with the content just referring to these reveal themes. So that's a very nice way to get away or navigate through all of your slides. Again, that was the overview mode, and that was accessed by hitting escape. Up next, we can go ahead and talk about slide zoom. This is going to be a nice feature for, if you want to bring attention to anything on the slide. What you can do is if you are on a Mac, you hold the Option key. And if you are on a Windows PC, I believe it is the Alt key, but you'll hold that down and then click wherever you want on your slide, and then Quarto will go ahead and just pop in for you. So if you were, trying to look at a specific, thing that was too small or a chart, you can kind of quickly zoom in to, whatever you would like. We need to look at what logos these are or something goofy like that. Quarto is quite good with zooming to your content. Up next is speaker view. So you can access that a few ways. You can hit S on the keyboard, or you can go into that hamburger menu we talked about before, the navigation menu. But up at the very top is going to be this tools section. We see here a few various tools like full screen, speaker view that we're talking about. There's that slide overview, and then we can talk about this PDF export mode in a little bit. Unfortunately, I can't, for some reason, get my speaker view to work today. It was working just fine, but I've never actually had this issue before. But what it will do is provide you with like notes that you have previously kind of inputted. So if we were to take a look at like this slide in the background, we can see that there will be a kind of note section. However, it's not working properly today. Where is it? Oh, here it is. So we see here, ideally it will pop up in this nice speaker view, but unfortunately I'm having an issue with that today. So up next, we can take a look at the print to PDF. So if you wanted to export these slides or share them in a PDF format, you can kind of do this in the YAML header, but I found it's not necessarily the best way to get a PDF export of your kind of Quarto slides. I've found that your web browser or your print driver does a much better job of taking your HTML content and exporting it into a PDF. So what we can do to try that out, if I were to just go ahead and Control P here, we see in this little print preview that all of the slides have lost all of their theming and their layouts. So it's a really basic kind of view of everything. We do get everything, all of our content, but it's not the way we want it to look like. So what we can do is go to that navigation menu, and then we'll hit that Tools again, and hit this PDF export mode. Or you can go ahead and hit E. What that will do, it kind of smushes all of the content together, like gluing the slides together. But this now allows you to more easily, print as you would, because it is a large kind of PDF. So now if I were to go Control P again, we see we're still not 100% in our Quarto slides. That's because I am using a kind of landscape layout of a specific resolution. So it's not going to fit on like this portrait orientation. So what I like to do is I like to jump over to landscape, and you see it's fitting a little better already. But again, because of my weird custom sizing I have applied to this presentation, it's not completely fitting in this paper size. So if you go to something like US Legal, or something that more properly matches your aspect ratio, you'll see in our preview that we get a much more reasonable layout with all of our content on our slides. And then we can go ahead, hit PDF in the lower left if you're on a Mac. And then we can just save this as Quarto Slides PDF 1, really fancy. And we can take a look at that. Then you can see here we have a pretty faithful representation of our slides, but now they're in PDF. But you see our links are working, and all of our kind of formatting and everything we have, all of our aesthetics that we've put into the presentation are, for the most part, retained, other than like animations and things like that. All right, so we can hop back over to the presentation. If you are on a PC, you won't have that kind of PDF option in the bottom left-hand corner, but you will have to do something where it says printer. You can likely select like a Microsoft print to PDF or Adobe print to PDF, but it might be worth experimenting to see what will give you your best results. All right. Up next is going to be the chalkboard, which we can kind of demonstrate here. So chalkboard allows you to draw on your slides, if you're doing math or, deriving something like that. But it does have its issues. It does not work well with the embed resources. So that's why I don't have it enabled in our main slide, but we can go ahead here and try it out. I think there's a few other packages Chalkboard has some issues with, but yeah. So you can see down here, we now have these kind of presentation tools. So we can hit here, this little like whiteboard, and we will be given a chalkboard. We can, do our math or what have you. And then we can, switch back to our regular slides. And then if we hit this little pen down here, we are able to kind of draw onto our regular slides. But yeah, I don't use it too terribly often because it does conflict with this embed resources, and I really enjoy having my HTML in one file. But yeah, if you need to go ahead and draw on or have a chalkboard type feature, it is very nice to have. All right, next, or lastly, I want to talk about in interacting with the audience is going to be Multiplex. So I think this is probably one of the coolest features of Quarto. But if you are accessing these slides through the GitHub link that we had sent before in the chat, what Multiplex allows you to do is I can now control your slides. So we'll go ahead and pop this out. So on the left-hand side is going to be the main slides, or at least the ones that I control. And then on the right-hand side should be what you see. So let's confirm that works. Yeah, so hopefully I am now kind of controlling your slides from my computer. That is the feature of Multiplex. So what it has done, it is when you render this Quarto document, you're presented with two HTML files. One of them is this dash speaker, and the other one is just your plain HTML, like you would get from your standard Quarto output. But when you share this standard HTML to your, people like you, and keep this one for yourself, anything you do in this dash speaker HTML will be translated into the, regular HTML file that you guys all see. What it's doing is running a little process in the background and communicating over the internet to allow for the control of your slides on your hand or on your end. But I think that's an amazing feature as it lets you really control what your people are seeing in the in a way that they can copy paste links, code, anything that you're working on. It's really exactly for them, and they are allowed to interact with it, and they can also go off on their own, but you are really in control of what slides that they're looking at. I won't do that this entire time, but we can jump back. All right, so that is going to be it for presenting slides for maximum engagement. There's quite a lot of nice things in Quarto that allow you to really, impress your audience. I think the multiplex is quite cool, and it is pretty impressive and allows you to really kind of rein in the control of the presentation to make sure everybody's on the same page. All right. Next, we can go ahead and talk about some Reveal themes and customizing those with SCSS. So what do we want to look at? We'll take a look at how you can choose and use themes, how you might customize some of these, and also create themes. These are kind of basically the same thing as we'll get into in a bit. And then we'll go ahead and talk about once we've created these themes or customizing them, we will customize them or create them using Sass and Sass variables, which is essentially just CSS at the end of the day. All right, so let's talk about choosing and using some of these themes. So automatically, Reveal.js has a lot of pre-built themes. So let's take a look at some of these. You see here, I have this Reveal Themes Quarto documentation, and you get to see a list of all of our kind of default or available themes that we don't need to do any work to use. We can just go ahead and use them. We'll demonstrate that in a minute, or I guess we can do that now. But yeah, if we were to utilize one of these default themes, all we would have to do is let's go ahead and go for Moon, as we've seen before. You see in this YAML header, under Format, under Reveal.js, because we're using Reveal.js kind of stack, there is this theme argument. You see, currently I have this custom theme that is the Cal Poly Pomona kind of branding, but if we were to take that out and replace it with a theme like Moon, you can see how quickly we can transform the look of the entire slides. So it'll take a second or two, but boom, you see now there has been a huge overhaul of the slides, and it kind of matches that theme that we had seen before. So that's the power of these built-in themes. They have a lot of them, and for the most part, you're probably going to be able to get away with something that pre-exists, and all the work has been done for you. So we can try out sky as well, just for fun. But yeah, you can see how large of a swing in theming Quarto provides. All right. And again, that was in our YAML header there, is where we were able to edit that. Yeah, so we need to, if we wanted to, kind of further extend one of our themes, like the sky theme or the default theme, as well as the theme.scss, you just need to include these little brackets here, and then you can kind of stack on themes as you see fit. How themes work in Quarto for customizing them, it's going to first, in this example, it's first going to look at the default theme, but and make all of its adjustments through there, like in the heading and links, things like that. And then it's going to go ahead and look at your theme.scss or your custom theming. And then it's going to take what you've defined there and will override the default aspects of the theme. So if in this case the default theme had a red heading level 1, this theme.scss can override that by using by just specifying a kind of gold or yellow header. But what for the most part, likely want to do is specify a theme that works well for you or that you like. And then you're probably going to go create a custom theme.scss and just change, a handful of things in the theme. Because all this work has been done for you, and SCSS, it's quite a lot of work to actually learn and kind of create a wonderful theme from scratch. But all right. Yeah, we are able to customize these themes. For example, this is SCSS for some of this Quarto presentation. So you see here, this is going to be for links. We have a dot reveal and then A for links, and I specify a color, which is a variable in CSS. So this little chunk here is going to override anything else in our themes. And now when we have a link, it is this kind of citrus color. But this is really how you change text colors and link colors. In Word, you would highlight, or in whatever text editor you're using, you would highlight it and then kind of use a user interface to change the color to what you would like. But in Quarto, the way we really will do it is by using this SCSS. It's a much more technical approach, but it is much more powerful. There are quite a lot of things that you can edit in a theme. So let's take a look at some of those. So we're back to that theme page. And you see down here how you can customize theme. And see, here's another example of a custom CSS. But you see there's only, you likely are only going to edit a handful of things in a theme. If we scroll down here to the Sass variables, we are able to take a look at all of the variables that we are easily going to be able to edit in our SCSS file. And it's really quite powerful. There's quite a lot of variables that we are just free to edit and override here. But if you're going to go ahead and customize a theme, I would start with a kind of stock theme and then further extend it by using these Sass variables. All right. Yeah, so creating your theme, you will create that SCSS file and then set up some variables. And then you can write rules for more advanced CSS development, but we won't necessarily get into that right now. And then we need to link it into this header like we've done before, this theme.scss. All right. Yeah, so this gives you, complete control over your presentation's experience. There's really or appearance. There's really nothing you can't edit or customize in Quarto. All right, so let's actually get into this a little bit. We'll just actually show the entire theme SCSS, but we can kind of jump over that. So let's actually go ahead and see how we will change that custom theme. So what I'm going to do is I have my RStudio here, and let's go ahead and pull up this theme.scss, and we can throw it over here. And now we can kind of edit in this theme.scss certain things like variables. So you see here I have the branding guidelines for Cal Poly Pomona. These are just taken off of the Cal Poly Pomona branding website. But I'm defining primary colors as well as some secondary colors that we are just free to use later on. As well as some fonts I use that are attempting to emulate the ones that are provided at or required in the Cal Poly Pomona branding. We also have some rules which allow for us to, change the, weights or whatever we would like to the various headings. So in this case, let's try and change that heading, the H1 or level 1 heading color. So let's think, we don't like this yellow or this gold. We think it doesn't, necessarily fit our brand. So you see here, or sorry, I guess the gold is actually a level 2 heading. We see here our dot reveal, and then we open our bracket, and then if we kind of ignore everything else, we can just add this little chunk of H2. So that is the second level heading that we would like to edit. And then within that, we can go ahead and change some things around. So here I'm specifying a font size as well as a color. So let's go ahead, and we think that color is ugly, so we'll go ahead and change it to green. And then if I simply save this SCSS file and re-render, you'll notice now that all of our second level headings, as well as our first level headings, are going to be the color we have specified. So really, that is how you change the various, I can't select that, level headings in Quarto. Yeah, it's not as simple as kind of highlighting and, recoloring, but it is powerful. So now every single second level heading is going to use whatever you specify. I'm going to save that again and re-render it back where it was. So that's quite powerful. You can do that with, again, really every single element in a Quarto presentation or Reveal.js presentation is going to be able to be edited or modified in some way through CSS. You see here we're also editing the font size. You can add bold to it, different stylings, but really there's no limit of what you can do here. All right, I want to talk about the Reveal.js or the CSS variables. So here I'm referencing this CPP gold, but I'm not really saying what that means. So up here, you can see where I had previously defined all of our SCSS variables. So if I didn't want to, just change that one CPP gold, like let's say that CPP gold has now changed, shades or something like that. You don't want to have to go through your entire CSS file and edit everywhere it says, CPP gold, and change it to a new color. What we can do is in this variable area, we can just go ahead and define a, random new color. In this case, I'm using Visual Studio Code, so they make it very, very easy to kind of find and choose new colors. But of course, you could always just paste in a new color. So now if I were to save that, that CPP gold has now been applied to, or now replaced all of the old CPP gold. So if we render it, we'll see we now have a green instead of our gold. But of course, that is now a horrible variable name. So we'll change it back to what it was. All right. So that is for the most part kind of things you'll want to edit. You can see here all of the, when you're creating these, it's probably not unreasonable to, download this one from GitHub and kind of remove everything else you don't want. But everything within this .reveal is going to be, likely things you want to edit. So here I have all of the headings where I'm adjusting the type of font, as well as the background where I'm able to change the color of the slide background, down even to the controls where we see the progress bar. All of that is able, or you are able to edit and change. You can see even here I have, special bullets depending on the level of, don't know if I have one. Depending on the level of bullet, you can specify what type of bullet point you would like. So instead of, visually editing it in like a word processor, you kind of do that all through SCSS. But it is certainly not as daunting as it may seem. But if you just kind of think everything that is in Word, everything that you can do visually, you can do it via code. It's just a little bit more difficult, but it's also much more reproducible and will stand the test of time. Or if you're creating 100 headings, you don't want to have to continuously recolor them all the time. It's much nicer to have everything as a SCSS and have it all automatic. All right. Yep. There we went. We modified the colors and kind of saw those changes. All right. So I think that's everything from me. We covered reveal themes and how SCSS, how you can modify them. We chose and used the different themes. We kind of customized the theme in that I showed you how. And then we showed this kind of completely custom theme and use some of our Sass variables. All right. I'll pass it on back to Dr. Zhang.
Okay, thank you. All right. So we have just finished this one, and let me probably let me just add one thing. Let me share this one, and this is my first Reveal.js presentation here. So last semester I was teaching a class, and then I wanted to create a sample presentation slide that I can share with the students so that they can follow it and they can prepare their presentation at the classroom for their final presentation at the end of semester. So you can, let me share this link. And I had a lot of fun with this. And and so it was quite, I didn't use, many of these advanced skills. I use pretty simple things. This animation that you see here, like on the title page, I got this from the built-in some of the sample the graphics from Canva. So I downloaded it and then saved it as a GIF file. And then I use it as a background for this title bar. So that's why it's kind of moving it. And I had this Calpoly Pomona old logo appear on the top. But as I save it in Canva, it was pretty probably too high on the upper right corner. That's why it's not fully showing up. And then, very simple, just usually just built-in functions. And then here I changed the background. And so just using the basic things and here like that. And then here's a research background and just for the research hypotheses or research questions, and students can prepare like that. And then here's a methods. And then here talk about research design, populations, and data collection, and the data preparations, and here the variables. And for that, here I use the data dictionary function in R, and then just it shows all these data in the variables and the details about the variables in the data set. So it's all, and these numbers that show up, these are not, I didn't type in, I used inline coding so that these statistics are piped to the data itself. So if the data changes, then these statistics will automatically change. And like that. So here's now analysis. I try to use different background color when the chapter changes, like that. And then here's details about one sample t-test. And here's descriptive statistics. Like this. And here's insights about that. So I found this to be very fun process.